Hello everybody, it's Ryan, and yet again there is another Steam sale. Just like we did with the Steam Winter Sale, I decided to go through, try to find some of the best deals, and relay that information to you guys. So starting off today, we will just go through a general sort of overview of some of the best games at different price points. In the future, if you guys want specific genres of games, maybe just if you had $60, what I'd recommend for new people to the Steam sales, I can make those videos happen in the future, but this one's just kind of a general overview. If your favorite game's not on here, I'm sorry, I can only put so many games into this video, or maybe it was in a previous video, so go check those out. Otherwise, leave down a comment down below with your favorite game that's in the Steam sale. But let's get started with games that are $5 or less. First up is Sonic Mania at 75% off. This game is a retro platformer that is really just a game made for Sonic fans. If you've never played it and are a big Sonic fan, you have to pick up this game. I will say, as a person that wasn't truly sold on Sonic games as a kid, I was much more of a Mario person. Sonic Mania is an amazing game and I absolutely enjoyed playing through it, so I can recommend it to people that don't love the Sonic franchise innately. I think this game could turn you around. The next game is Terraria at only 50% discount, but if you've never played Terraria before and don't own it, you have to pick it up, and at 50% it's an absolute steal. It is a game with endless content. They are constantly saying they're done updating it, and yet again they've managed to throw in another update. If you've never played Terraria, it is an open world survival crafting game. People like to compare it to Minecraft. It is not Minecraft. Don't go into the game assuming it's Minecraft. It is quite a bit more in my opinion. It actually has progression innately built into it with boss fights and such, and it is an amazing game to play with friends, and the multiplayer servers are a phenomenal addition that makes it very easy to play with them. So if you have a lot of free time during the summer and want to start a server with some friends, definitely pick up this game and convince them to pick it up too. Bloons Tower Defense 6 is at a whopping 70% discount. I think a lot of people, when they think of tower defense Bloons games, they think back to when they were younger and played these games on websites, especially in computer classes. I know I did. And Bloons Tower Defense 6 is everything that is great about Bloons games put onto Steam. I mean, this game is absolutely phenomenal. You can just burn tons of time if you have some free time, and it really just is some good fun. And at 70% discount, it is very easy to recommend. There is plenty of time to just throw away at the game. The music is phenomenal. Everything about this game is great. If you don't love tower defense games, definitely this is not the game for you. But if you like tower defense games and you remember Bloons fondly from when you were younger, I definitely recommend picking up this game. Next up is Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen at an 84% discount. This game is an absolute masterpiece. It allows you to slay giant monsters, kill dragons, explore dungeons. It is everything you want in an open world RPG kind of game, and at an 84% discount, this game is an absolute steal. There is so much content here. If this is your kind of genre and you've not experienced any of these games, I highly recommend it. If you aren't really a big open world person, I recommend just giving this game a try. It is pretty cheap right now during the sale, and yeah, dude, check it out. Celeste at a 75% discount is an absolute steal. It is probably one of the best games in the last decade, if not one of the best games of all time at this point. It is an amazing precision platformer. If you love the platform genre, it is definitely the game that you need to play. If you don't love the genre, I think the soundtrack and the art style can definitely turn you into a fan of the genre. It is a little bit difficult in the later levels. I will say, as a speedrunner, I adore what the devs have done with the game, so please do check it out. Play Celeste. It's an absolute wonderful story. Next up, a Dance of Fire and Ice at only a 20% discount. I know this game might come to a shock to some of the fans of the channel who know rhythm games aren't necessarily my favorite, but hear me out. This game is very enjoyable for what it is as a rhythm game. The soundtrack is amazing. It really makes you keep your focus while you're playing it, and I'm a big fan of the game, so I recommend checking out if rhythm games are your thing. I will say, leave comments down below on rhythm games that you do enjoy. It's not my favorite genre, so it's hard for me to really recommend a ton of games there, but some of the more popular ones I do recommend, like this. Next up is the Batman Arkham series, specifically Batman Arkham City, but most of these games are at a 75% discount, and I will say a lot of them are pretty similar to each other. Some of them are better than others. It's all kind of up to personal preference a lot of the time, but these games have a ton of content for you Batman fans. If you really want to feel like Batman, okay, I'm not going to do that, but these games are honestly genuinely very good. These stories are great. It feels good to beat up people. I've enjoyed playing through these games, and I do recommend you try them out yourselves. Next up is Castle Crashers at an 80% discount. This game is a great game to play with a few other friends for a night and really just enjoy yourselves. At a $3 price point, it is very easy to recommend. I mean, you can get hours of fun with your friends, good laugh, and you can come back to it at any point in time. I will say, if you're a single player person, I don't know if I can recommend it, but if you do have a group of friends that are willing to put up the $3 each, I do think you should check it out. The next game on our list today is Loop Hero at a 67% discount, and it is, I believe, the first roguelike on the list, a genre that I am always recommending games for. The soundtrack alone is probably why I would recommend this game best. If you like roguelikes and deck building, this is definitely a game for you. It is for sure a different experience than a lot of other roguelikes that I've played in the past, but I think you should check it out. I think you should go in blind, give it a chance, and see if you enjoy it. Next up is Hotline Miami 2 at an 80% discount. I have recommended this game in the past. Once again, I'll say it. I think the second game is quite a bit better than the first game. I'm not a fan of the first game as much. And at only $3, the second game is amazing. Once again, an amazing soundtrack. If you love a good soundtrack to just game out to, this is definitely the game for you. Fast-paced fun, some gore, pixel graphics. What's not to love there? Yakuza 0 at a 75% discount. I will say that most of the Yakuza games are at a pretty hefty sale, so if you like the genre or like the series in general, you can definitely pick up more of the games, but Yakuza 0 is a phenomenal place to play the game. It allows you to have a beat 'em up while playing crazy mini games throughout with a story that is phenomenal. I mean, you have to play through to see the whole thing. It is so great. At $5, this game is ridiculous amount of content. I will recommend this one over a lot of the other ones, but if you enjoy the other games, don't roast me in the comments, please. And last up for games under $5 is basically anything in the Lego genre. Specifically, I'd recommend Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga if you don't own it already. I think a lot of people probably played that game, or maybe the Harry Potter or something else when they were younger, but I do think you should revisit it. I think at $5 for most of these games at 75% discount, it's pretty admirable. If you want to play the newer games, they're definitely also on sale, and I can recommend most of them. Some of the newer games are a little, for me, jarring because of hearing voice actors in a Lego game, but they are all great fun and definitely best played with a friend. So if you can play them, a lot of them are remote play, so they don't necessarily need to own the game. You just have to have good enough internet. First up in our games under $10 is Starbound at a 60% discount. So if you bought Terraria or are thinking about buying Terraria, you should also think about getting Starbound because it is a very similar game in a lot of capacities, except it's set in space. I will say stick with Terraria if you've never played the genre or you haven't played Terraria. I think Terraria is probably the best game out there. But if you want additional content, I've already played through Terraria. Starbound is definitely a great secondary option, and once again allows for some great multiplayer server building with that. It is a lot of the same, but the space element does add a lot, and it is a lot of good fun. Stardew Valley is at a 40% discount, which I will recommend this game for the end of time. This game is probably one of the best games for non-gamers stereotypically. I think a lot of people just love playing this game, but it is a game made for literally anybody. It is a farming simulator, which turns off a lot of people at first glance, but there is so much more to this game. And I think if people understood that it isn't just a farming simulator, they'd give it a chance. I mean, this game's art style, soundtrack, all of it's phenomenal, but there is so much more content of the game than it first gives a glance to that I think you should give it a try. It has overwhelmingly positive reviews for over like almost 400,000 reviews on Steam, so clearly everyone knows about it, but if you haven't given it a try, do give it a try at that 40% discount. Next up is Slay the Spire at a 66% discount. If you like roguelikes or deck building and everything assorted, that is the best game for it. It is unmatched when it comes to it. There is a massive skill ceiling to that game where once you get good, you just don't lose anymore. But that game is so much fun to play for new players and has so many hours of content, not even including trying to get achievements or anything. You're just going to try to level up each of your characters and continuously play the game. The replay value in that game is unmatched almost, so I definitely recommend checking that game out. Next up is Bug Fables at a 50% discount. I'll recommend this game every chance I get. If you liked Paper Mario Thousand Year Door and you have not heard of Bug Fables, please just go immediately purchase Bug Fables and play it. It is an absolute great retelling almost of the story. It's not the same plot, but the gameplay itself is very similar to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and that is why I checked it out. But the characters are also lovable in the game. The music is great. I still listen to it all the time. And the overall plot of the story is pretty wild. So please do check it out. I don't love bugs, but I love a Bugs Fable. And the last game in the $10 or less category is A Short Hike at a 35% discount. I will say this game is pretty short, but what it does do is give you an absolute wonderful experience the first time you play it. And every time you replay it after, you can just keep finding new things. I know for me, I did not find everything that the game had in my first playthrough, but it is just a short hike after all, so you don't really have to spend all that time to beat it each time. It is so lovely. I think it really warms your heart when you play the game, so I think if you're willing to sit down and pay about $5, you're gonna have a great night. The first game in our last category of anything over $10 is A Hat in Time with a 50% discount. This is one of those 3D platformers that are equally lovable to some of the other games I've recommended. I've done a speedrunning video of it on the channel before, so I have a pretty close connection to this game, but it is an absolute wonderful experience. Great characters, absolutely stunning graphics. The music is so great, and the feel of the platforming is phenomenal. So if you like platformers, it's definitely a game for you. It is one of those games, though, if you don't love platformers, it doesn't do much beyond that. Next up is Subnautica at a 50% discount. So if you love the water and don't have an innate fear of being underwater cam on the channel, then Subnautica is a game you're going to love. It is an open world survival crafting game where you are underwater, and there is a plot kinda that you're trying to complete, but just exploring the world and crafting is great. I mean, there aren't that many games where the underwater scenery is so wonderful that you can just swim around and enjoy yourself, and this is one of those games. But there is a lot to explore, a lot to unveil, and a lot to reveal in this game, so definitely check it out if it's speaking to you. Next up is the Phoenix Wright Trilogy at a 50% discount. For me, I had never played this game until it was on sale last Steam sale, and I checked it out, and it's been an absolute ride. So if you don't know anything about the Phoenix Wright series, definitely buy this game and get that full experience. If you have played Phoenix Wright games in the past, definitely re-experience it with this trilogy and have a good time once again. Enjoy yelling objection as loud as possible in real life to your friends every time you see them after playing through this game. Monster Hunter Rise is at a 49% discount. Don't know why they didn't just push it to that nice 50%, but it is still a huge sale for a game that is relatively new and a huge expansive experience. The Monster Hunter series has grown in popularity, I feel like, in previous years, so a lot more people are playing these games, but it is definitely a game where you can burn so much time going through the game. I mean, the monsters are really the selling point for the game, but playing this game with friends for me has been an absolute wonderful experience, and I can recommend trying it out and get it, dipping your toes into the series. If this game isn't for you because it's a little too expensive, check out some of the older games and see if it's the genre for you. Next up is Psychnauts 2 at a 50% discount. I will say I think this is a game that I primarily recommend to people that played the original and hadn't had the chance to play the new game yet. I don't know if the Psychonauts series is actually so broad expansive that anyone can just pick it up and play it. I think it's a very peculiar game. I recently replayed through the original Psychonauts, and let me tell you, it has definitely aged a bit, but it is a very peculiar game series, and this is a peculiar game. It is definitely well executed, so if you enjoyed the original, I think you'll enjoy this game, and definitely check it out at that 50% discount. It hasn't been out for terribly long, so a 50% discount is a pretty good deal there. Next up is South Park: The Fractured Butthole at a 75% discount. I believe I recommended the original South Park game, The Stick of Truth, previously on the last sale, and this is in a similar vein where if you like the South Park characters, you're gonna love this game. I don't know if you don't like South Park in particular, I don't think you should try this game, but if you aren't against South Park, this game is still very good, but it is definitely best played as a South Park fan because you get all that crude humor, the crazy characters. The gameplay in it is very great. I will say if you haven't tried The Stick of Truth, maybe try that game because I think it is just overall maybe a better game, but this game is still phenomenal. Next up, I'm recommending Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl at a 70% discount. As a Melee player, a Smash Ultimate player, a person that just loves fighting games, I have to recommend a fighting game, and I think this game is getting a hard rep at a 70% discount for a game that came out only about a year ago or so. Not even that long. It is a huge discount because so many people aren't playing this game. When they pushed it originally, there was no voice lines for any of the characters, but that's all been remedied. The game feels like a complete game at this point, and it is a ton of fun to play with friends. Even if you aren't a competitive gamer, pick it up with one other friend and just kind of casually play it how you maybe play Smash growing up or any other kind of fighting game. It's definitely a lot of fun to mess around in, and at a 70% discount, it is not that much of a commitment, so please do check it out. And the very last game for this first Steam Summer Sale video will be Hitman 3, but also kind of just including the whole trilogy at a 60% discount. So the Hitman franchise is something with Hitman 3 that has become quite a bit more popular, especially here on YouTube and Twitch, but it is a game that I think everyone should try out. It is so much fun. Here on this channel, me and Cam did a race on the first 4 levels to see who can complete them the fastest, but this game has so much replayability. Everyone has their own unique approaches, and the game is so great for what it is. You really feel like an assassin and can just choose any sort of conditions to beat the level. I mean, they really allow so much flexibility to beat the game. To wrap up this video, I just wanted to touch on a few more mainstream games that have some pretty good deals, like God of War, the Resident Evil franchise, Sekiro, even Red Dead Redemption. I mean, there are so many games that I could recommend, especially old classics that I think everyone sort of owns on Steam, but I know a lot of new people are getting into the world of PC gaming, so if you want more recommendations, I could definitely make more videos in the future. If you want specifically more videos on hidden gems, more specific price points, genres of games, leave a comment down below and I will make it happen. So thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and do pick up some games in the Steam sale and let me know what you ended up picking up. Peace out everybody.